Hey, what's up?
Yo, do you know that big tech is suing the state of Illinois? You know, they're not going to tell you that because they're going to keep saying that they're fighting ICE and fighting Trump and abolishing ICE. But let's get into this lawsuit. Chicago just created the first tax in America on social media users, and now big tech is suing. Let's be clear, this isn't about protecting kids or mental health. It's about government finding new ways to tax speech and control the internet. Mayor Brandon Johnson pushed a 50 cents per user tax on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and X after the first 100,000 Chicago users. That means the government is
I don't even know if that's legal.
literally taxing companies based on how many people are speaking, posting, and sharing information. That's a dangerous precedent. The First Amendment exists to stop government from targeting publishers and communication platforms with special taxes. The courts already ruled on this in the 1983 Minneapolis Star case. Chicago doesn't have a revenue problem. It has a spending and corruption problem. Instead of fixing crime, pensions, and property taxes, City Hall is experimenting with unconstitutional taxes that will ultimately be passed on to Chicago residents and small businesses. Chicago flips red. All hands on deck. Now
this happened. This is the first tax in the history, right?
Yeah, you know, let me tell you something. One thing that the state of Illinois is going to do is they are going to be the first in history to tax you.
Yeah, figure out a way to tax on something. A new tax.
Soda tax.
You know, it's amazing how these Democrat politicians in these blue states and cities, they never figure out a way to cut spending. Only thing they know how to do is tax more. Now we're already at the economic brink.
Hey, Tammy. Hey, John.
You can't tax us anymore. We're barely holding on. Barely. After these high property taxes, the 200 to 300%, because some 300%. We're barely making it. And then what do they come up with? No economic relief for us. They said, let's think of another tax to put upon the citizens. Now, Brandon Johnson, did he just create a 6-figure job for the LGB? He put somebody over the LGB
TQ affairs.
Yeah, affairs. So that's a 6-figure job, and that job comes with a pension, right?
They all come with a pension.
So instead of, now he could have just left that job, not create a new job, and cut the jobs that he created and the raises that they're getting, like the $58,000 raise that the Aviation Commission got.
Michael McMurray.
Yeah. But no, how dare we do that? How dare we cut our salaries and cut the spending on us? Oh no. We're just going to figure out ways to tax you more.
Google is going to leave, and Google hasn't even really set up shop. I mean, Google was in the West Loop for a minute, but now people know Google is across the street from City Hall, Cook County Clerk Building.
Now, can you believe I got a video a little bit later. In California, they found a way that they're going to somehow do this mileage tax on top of your rental property, because they're going to estimate how much you're going to drive from that rental property to get around. They're going to do a tax that way. Then later comes because they were studying the other tax. So they wanted to get this tax in the meantime.
The county building. But yeah, Google's going to
So it's going to be assessed on top of your rent, or if you got a mortgage, they're going to assess this mileage tax on you. They don't want you to drive. Actually, they don't want you to own either.
And other tech startups are going to start leaving. So then we're going to lose all our tech, just like we're losing all our other corporations. So honestly, you have to vote red down the ballot. You have to vote for people who are not dependent on the government. The Democratic leadership in the city of Chicago,
This is my
state
friend
of Illinois,
Danielle here
and Cook County
from
are the real
Chicago
welfare
Clips Red.
recipients.
She's been on a couple times.
And they're never going to stop being a welfare recipient if you do not start voting these people out. So March 17th, please start voting these people out.
How can they tax you for like you using Facebook or Twitter? They're trying to stop you from using it. That's what they're trying to do. They don't like us using it.
Because we're going to lose AI. We're going to lose all the things that are coming here that can make this city money, especially with our kids being on this. And that's really a lot of their skill. And if we're going to lose the tech jobs and the STEM programs and everything else because of another tax that y'all are trying to call it an amusement tax, everybody's getting taxed but the illegal alien. Everybody is getting taxed but the illegal.
Yeah, the illegal aliens won't have to pay it.
Illegal aliens.
And so the problem is, guys,
because they're trying to replace us.
If they keep taxing, what happens? Corporations move, companies move. Therefore,
hi Joe.
Who does that fall on to pay and make up that revenue that just left? It falls on us, the tax-paying citizens. So they're going to make it up because they're not going to cut their spending. So they're going to make that money up somehow, and it's going to fall on us. So, guys,
they need to do their money laundering. That's why.
Please.
To stay in
power.
Tech,
small tech, little tech, startup tech, business owners, entrepreneurs, corporations, bankers, real estate developers, not the non-corrupt ones. Vote red. Y'all gotta vote red. You got it. Economically, you gotta vote red, man. We ain't gonna have nothing. Y'all ain't gonna have no businesses because the state of Illinois is a business killer, especially a small business killer. SBK.
All right, guys. Love you all. Vote red.
All hands on deck.
Yep. All right. Just in case you were wondering, Jamie is helping here. Here we go.
Listen to how disgusting Jamie Lee Curtis is in this clip and how I'm going to debunk her TDS.
You have to have empathy. You have to care about people. He does not care about anybody but Donald J. Trump.
Jamie Lee Curtis, it's losers like you that actually don't care about people.
Because he's never demonstrated anything.
In 1988, he used his private jet to transport a 3-year-old all the way from Los Angeles to New York for specialized treatment because he had a rare breathing disorder. An Army veteran was diagnosed with stage 3 bladder cancer, and his family was concerned about his medical bills. Once he started his treatment, he realized he wasn't receiving any bills, finally learned out from the hospital.
Oh, you're right, John. The messaging isn't working, huh? I didn't even notice that. I didn't try it. That's why.
Hospital that Donald Trump had privately paid for all of his medical treatment. In the 1990s, Donald Trump's private pilot's wife was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was going to be $30,000 for her treatment. Donald Trump paid for all of it and then continued to pay for her additional care. In 1986, he learned of an elderly woman that had $77,000 of debt, and her family farm was going to be taken away because of her husband's suicide. He paid off the debt and paid off the farm so that her family could keep it. In 2008, when Jennifer Hudson lost her mom, brother, and nephew, Donald Trump housed the rest of their family in Trump Tower for a very extended period of time at no cost. He encountered a woman on the Brooklyn Bridge that was about ready to end her life. He stopped, he talked with her, he prayed with her, and then he slipped her a $100 bill. She framed it and then later credited him for saving her life. In the 90s, he came up on a stranded motorist on the New Jersey highway. He stopped to help him, and after learning about his financial and medical issues, Donald Trump sent a check to pay for all of it. In the 1980s, he learned from the news about a family that lost their home in New York due to a fire, leaving them homeless, and the dad was facing chronic illnesses. He privately sent them a check to cover housing and medical costs. In 2016, before he announced his presidency, he met a veteran that was struggling with PTSD. He sent him a check for $10,000 to help him get treatment and to help stabilize his family. In the 1980s, he covered the cost of a heart surgery for a little boy whose family was denied insurance coverage. He sent a $10,000 check to a bus driver in New York that found a woman in distress on a bridge where he stopped to talk to her as she was about to end her life. He wrote him a letter talking about his heroism and the donation check. In the 1980s, he paid to repair the elevators in the Harlem hospital. In 1995, Trump's limo broke down on the New Jersey highway. A motorist named George stopped to help them change the tire. Trump paid off his house, over $100,000. In the pre-2000s, he met a homeless woman that he offered to pay for her housing. He put her up in one of his Trump buildings and is paying for it indefinitely, and has paid to have fresh flowers delivered every single day to brighten up her home. When Trump was still in school, one of his classmates' fathers passed away, and Donald Trump's father, Fred, ended up paying for the rest of his education so that he could continue to go to school. Once Donald Trump graduated, he continued that promise and paid for the other 3 kids to finish up their schooling. There are so many more, but I specifically chose ones that were done prior to him even announcing that he was running for his presidency. Because unlike vain celebrities like you that just donate to organizations to get publicity, he actually has a lifetime of selfless service.
John, I hope it's a temporary thing with it being down. Tammy, you and John, your state's doing pretty good at flipping some really blue seats that have gone red in these special elections. Good job, I have to say. You know? All right. This is in the Quran. You wouldn't believe what in your oath to take the pledge to take in the Quran. Watch this.
Hear you, Laura, when you speak of the fatwas, but that's a geopolitical fallout as well of inaction that was taken by your country. I'm not.
She was being interviewed in India. You'd think they'd be against the Quran, but
In any which way, saying it's all right. But when you talk about brutalities, and I'll ask, maybe in the next 10 seconds, we can put out the brutalities that Iranians have faced. 160 young kids, 160 young girls were killed in a missile strike by your country, which, Laura, you have called that the Iranians use them as shield. Even your country, your president, your secretary of war has said it needs to be investigated.
Well, it needs to be investigated, but if you look at photos and footage from the moment that the missile attack took place, you can clearly see the trajectory of the missile, and it was fired from Iran. And so, yes, there does need to be an investigation, but it does appear—
You have had 3 or 4 videos debunking what the media is reporting. And, well, they're reporting whatever Iran says.
Thus far from the photographic and video evidence that this was carried out by Iran.
So what do you make
missile,
of
it was a faulty missile.
So that is under investigation, but even the Department of Defense and Secretary of War have indicated that there would be an inquiry. The Iranians are very clear that this is a Patriot.
Yeah, I know, John. It's easy to get burned out, because it's coming at you like a fire hose.
Missile or an American missile that led to the death of 170 young girls.
Well, I'm not going to take the word of a regime that's chanting death to America. I prefer an active investigation as opposed to trusting the Iranians at their word.
So what have your conversations with President Trump been like?
Even that this did happen, it wasn't intentionally at the kids.
Especially,
and who says there was any kids there to start with?
One on the war on terror, and you hold a very strong view about women wearing hijab. For example, being a part of TSA or being in aviation security, or people like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar being political leaders. Where do both of you stand on that? Where do you stand on that?
Well, I personally am very outspoken in my belief that I think that it should be illegal in the United States for Muslims to hold office. I don't think that you can take your oath on the Quran.
Well, Tammy, I don't use Facebook a lot, but I do use it for messaging because that's where I started out. It was on Facebook, and it had a lot to do with catching these ISIS people and turn them in.
And also be a loyal representative to the United States of America. You should take—
So I was banned for life for a minute. A long story on how I got it back.
Take your oath of office on the United States Constitution. And we already know that Islam as an ideology is completely incompatible, not just with Western values, but also American values. And if you're taking your oath on the Quran, you're pledging your allegiance to Sharia law, which believes that it is supreme to the United States Constitution. So that is a big problem. And you see that when you have Muslims serving in office in the United States, whether it's Ilhan Omar or Rashida Tlaib or Keith Ellison or Zoran Mamdani, who is now the first Muslim mayor of New York City, what do? They put Islam front and center in everything that they do, right? They changed our rules. We had a longstanding rule in the United States Congress of no head coverings. And now you have hijabs in Congress. They openly support Hamas. They openly support the Muslim Brotherhood. Ilhan Omar has advocated for members of ISIS in her district in Minnesota, which is the #1 ISIS recruitment location in our entire country. And Zoran Mandami is campaigning with co-conspirators in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing.
Marianne.
So how is this good for our country?
Laura,
Marianne, is Wimkin message working for you? Is it like working for some people, not others? Is it down for everybody? I don't know. All right, this is about a nurse. They labeled her Nurse Ratchet. She was deliberately withholding pain medication and other meds from patients because of their politics.
Ooh, this is hard to watch. Be forewarned.
I'm not being hostile. I'm just trying to explain to you, but I'm also.
Will you help me, please?
But you need to also help us help you too.
There's nothing else she can do.
I don't understand what I should be doing.
There's nothing else she can do.
There is.
What? Tell me what I'm
trying
supposed
to focus on your breathing.
I'm trying.
She is breathing. She's at a 10 out of 10 pain.
Okay, well, I just know that she's gotten even more hysterical since you've been here.
Hey, Kirk.
Are you saying I can't have my advocate?
If it causes you to behave this way, it means...
I have a lot of Kurdish groups that I started on there. I don't participate in it as much, but I do get a lot of messaging from them and what's going on in Iran and all that kind of stuff. So I do have Facebook for that reason. Although I was banned for life for a while until they tried to kill my wife and I with someone who worked at Facebook. Long story on that.
It may limit your advocate, yeah.
How am I behaving?
So I got my account back.
How is my behavior?
A woman is in 10 out of 10 pain and the nurse withholding her medication. She won't give it to her. Why? Because she needs to calm down and focus on breathing. Oh yeah, and stop crying. So here's the backwards logic. She's crying because she's in pain, but the nurse won't give her pain meds.
I use a lot of my information I get through Twitter and YouTube and some Rumble. I get links on Rumble like Benny Johnson, but I don't stay on Rumble that much, Although Rumble is a good platform.
Until she stops crying. Then her husband tries to advocate for her, and the nurse calls her even more hysterical.
I just don't have it on my phone in that.
Hysterical, a word used to describe women's pain for centuries. So here's what's happening. The nurse is using pain medication as leverage. Comply, honey. Stop crying. Then you get relief. If this was a man, 10 out of 10 pain, would she tell him to just breathe through it first? Or would she give him the medication? This is medical gaslighting. It's not healthcare, it's control. And it happens to women every single day.
I seen something on a video a long time ago where the scientists figured out that women respond to low levels of pain higher than men. Men can take it like they do in sports, but when it reaches a certain level, it's worse for the men. They feel it worse, and it disables them more than it does women. Women, because of childbirth, are able to take more pain. Like it curves up, and the guys curves the other way once they get to a certain level. I don't know. It seems to be true. It makes some sense of the childbirth stuff. All right, this is a flashback. 2000, when Trump predicting that someday Cuba would be free. This is 26 years ago.
Thank you very much. I've had a lot of offers, and sadly, it's all been very recently, to go into Cuba on deals, business deals, real estate and other deals. And I've rejected them on the basis that I will go when Cuba's free. As you know, and the people in this room know better than anyone, putting money and investing money in Cuba right now doesn't go to the people of Cuba. It goes into the...
Yeah, I lost my Facebook account for a long time because I used to track and find ISIS people through there with other groups of people. And so they ended up banning me for life because I was catching ISIS people. But then one day we were coming out of, I was using my wife's account after that to catch them and find them. so we were coming out of the Wegmans by us. I don't know if you guys have Wegmans. And she came out first, and this ISIS guy, because I turned these guys in, and they arrested 2 of them because they were going to get trucks, 3 trucks, like heavy trucks, and drive over people, one of them in one area, and kill a lot of people, Jews especially. But anyway, even other Muslims from Jersey City, they were going to do it in New York City. And they wanted to do it on 9/11. So they were planning to kill all these people, and I turned it into the FBI. I have some connections there to turn them in. So they arrested 2 of them when they were trying to rent trucks. The third one wasn't renting the truck, so they arrested him, but they had to let him go. So he came up here to Brockport area, and they were listening to his messages those at night. You know, they every night check all his communications. He was circling the cars. He was trying to run her over because they thought it was Gloria's account, my wife's account, that was doing it. Because someone at Facebook was telling him who was the one getting into his account and everything like that. So someone at Facebook was connected to ISIS. So FBI, she got in the car quick, threw the stuff in, and he was circling, and I got in. He hadn't taken off when I came out. The next morning, FBI came and checked her car. He tried to pop her hood and put something in her car and all that stuff. He wasn't successful because it came out in time. So they did end up arresting him because of the other messages they were doing. And so I put a message message Facebook about, hey, I'm going to go to the media and tell them that you got someone there at Facebook working with ISIS and this and that. And within 20 minutes, I was banned for life. I got my Facebook account back. So anyways, then they haven't bothered me too much since then. They do censor me still if they, say it's misinformation and all that kind of crap. So that's a long, the shortest I could make that story. All right.
Pockets of Fidel Castro. He's a murderer, he's a killer, he's a bad guy in every respect. Castro's jails are full of dissidents, as you know very well.
When I got my account back, it's as if, and I'd been banned for like 1.5 years, 2 years, something like that. It's just like it was when I left it, except for it hadn't been touched.
Graveyards are full of patriots, and his government is full of thugs. And it's inconceivable to me when I see the weak stance taken by our current administration, especially with the spirit in this room, because the spirit of the Cuban people is beyond any spirit that I've seen by any people, and I've been watching it for a long time. And we can't allow him to get away with this program of coming to this country, hiring our best consultants, hiring our best lobbyists, and all of a sudden, senators and various...
I have accounts on almost everything, partially because of getting banned so much and all that, but also communications.
Other people miraculously are on the side of Fidel.
Because you're always tracking all these nutcakes everywhere.
Castro, and now the battle is almost getting tougher, and it should be a battle that would be won or almost won by now. The point is that...
Yeah, we never found any ISIS people ever on Wimpkin or Orbeez or something like that. It was mostly the main ones.
Things can turn around, and they can turn around very rapidly. I believe that you will have victory. I believe you'll have victory sooner.
Yeah, I don't get the notifications over on that, which I should. I don't have it set up that way.
Rather than later. And you will win. You are going to win. And I'm going to be down here and I'm going to watch you win. I don't know what capacity I'll be. I'll either be the greatest developer in the country or the greatest president that you've had in a long time.
I'm glad that we just don't have any commies down there anymore, or China or Russia. If Cuba goes down, it'll be a friend to USA is what it's going to be.
Not sure. This trip has been very unusual. I've learned a tremendous amount. Jorge has taken me to I have met more Cubans than I knew existed. And they are great people. And now I'm friends, and I'm going to be here whenever you need me. If I could meet Castro right now, I'd have personally 2 words for him. Adios, amigo. We'll see you very soon. Thank you very much. Terrific people. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. 26 years later, it's still, it's got to happen. I guess God has his plans. I don't know. All right, here's a woman who tries to light her husband's car on fire because of him cheating or something. And it didn't end up going well. Watch, you got to watch this all the way right to the end, because right at the end is when it happens.
Gee, she just broke that window. Oh, child, she just posed something in there. Gee, whoever got this is. This ain't funny, baby. This ain't. And she about to set it on fire.
That's a vindictive woman. Didn't turn out so good for her. Here's a chic restaurant owner in the UK that went viral. Watch this.
They arrested him. London police arrested the man I was reporting on last night, Harman Singh Kapoor, who owns a restaurant in London where he refuses to serve halal food because it's against his religion as a Sikh, but also he has every right to refuse to serve halal food.
It was getter. I used to be able to go live on Marianne, and I can't do it anymore. I just end up sharing the links there.
He's been being their restaurant, his family's restaurant has been
Gregory
being attacked by mobs of Muslims. Last night it was attacked by a mob of Somalis. See last video. And somehow he's the one who got arrested. Here's that video.
Don't push me. Fucking slaves! They have to pay this bastard.
So is this really how Western civilization is going to go out? We're going to give up our freedoms, our rights to Muslim mob rule as they use the police as their own personal Sharia force to arrest people who refuse to do things like serve halal. Put a sign on his window saying proudly non-halal restaurant. Halal, of course, is meat that's slaughtered in an Islamic ritual with the animals facing Mecca and a Muslim saying prayers over the animal as it's killed. So we're really going to go out like this, or are we going to remember who we are? This Sikh man from India, he remembers. He's standing up. I know a lot of good people are standing up too. These people, whoever they are, who are probably, in the Epstein files, who are forcing all this down our throats, if we all stood up to them all at once, we'd be unstoppable, and they know it. So maybe let's do it.
They just lie on the left, whatever it takes. They repeat a lie over and over again until it gets believed, this and that. So yeah, I got some videos on what's going on in England. Friggin' arresting the wrong people, arresting the guy that was, or lady that was being harassed and attacked by the left, and they arrested her. Here's undercover at the New York's Board of Education, shocking one in New York City.
Seemed like before you were about to accept my voter registration form, even though I told you I was a green card holder.
I'm just a green card holder. So you're not going to report me if I do this.
Board of Elections.
We accept anything that comes over the counter. We have people who come in here and they have legal situations and they register, they weren't a citizen, boom, boom, boom. So
how often do things like that happen? Right now, I'm in front of 200 Varick Street in New York City, New York. And inside this building on the 10th floor is an office of the New York City Board of Elections.
Yeah, I got a video about that, Colin.
Now, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to pose as a non-citizen Canadian green card holder.
I'm a green card holder from Canada.
And I'm just going to see how far I can get in the voter registration process. So let's see what happens.
So I talked to a gentleman before and he said he could help me with registering to vote. It's my first time. So what do I have to show you guys?
Everything you fill out, you swear in an affidavit that everything you're putting down is true, and that's it. Can I have a seat? Fill it out.
Oh, got it. Okay. I'm a green card holder from Canada.
Okay, yeah, you got to be a citizen. I wouldn't fill it out.
You wouldn't fill it out?
Yeah, you got to be a citizen to fill it out.
Notice that he doesn't tell me it would be illegal to complete the application as a non-citizen, only that he doesn't recommend it. From here, things get even more concerning.
The reason why somebody told me that they were a green card holder and that they came in and then they submitted and they were good.
We can't stop you from submitting the application, and if it goes through, but most likely because they don't do like a full background check, but once in a while, we have people who come in here and they have legal situations and they registered, they weren't a citizen, boom, boom, boom. So
This is a direct admission that non-citizens are in fact registering to vote, something that many claim is a conspiracy theory.
All right, here's the deal. To be honest with you, I'm really against everything that's going on right now, and I'm trying to do my part. So, do you mind if I fill this out, or is it okay with you?
It's up to you. That's I can't tell you what to do. If you want to fill it out. But everything is clearly stated, especially at this bottom. It says American citizen. So what if you fill that out and you're not, if it comes.
I bet there's some leftists that would push that on you.
Comes back to you. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
But
we accept anything that comes over the counter.
But you're not going to report me or something like that?
No, I'm not. No, we don't report anyone. Whoever fills that application out comes to us.
But I'm just a green card holder. I don't want to get. So you're not going to report me if I do this?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. That's not my job to report anyone. My job is just to collect the application and put it and submit it to the department.
I bet you he would get approved. I guarantee it. I don't know. Congress, a game of fraud. This guy nails it.
Congress is the most evil, dysfunctional, scumbag entity we've got anywhere around the world, as far as I'm concerned. 2 examples. Tim Tebow, one of the most famous athletes we have. The spotlight's going to be on this guy. Well, he goes into Congress and he puts up a map and he shows that there are nearly 340,000 unique IP addresses across the United States in the past 6 months that have traded, downloaded, shared, sent images of 12-year-old children and younger being raped. So this is child porn of the worst degree. Do you hear anything about it today? Are all the people who have been screaming about the Epstein files because we need justice for these young children, do you hear any of them going crazy about what Tim Tebow just put out? Tim Tebow, one of the most honest people you're ever going to meet. Guy prays to God every 5 seconds. He's up there giving information that is absolutely credible, and nobody cares about it. You won't find it on a headline anywhere in CNN, New York Times, nothing. Next, you've got Ilhan Omar, who went into Congress $16,000 in debt, and now on her disclaimer form, just a few years later, she's worth almost $30 million. So this is troublesome, is it not? So Representative Nancy Mace, thank you, Nancy, she says, hey, we got to look into Ilhan Omar. So she makes a motion to subpoena for the immigration forms that Ilhan filled out and her brother filled out, who she allegedly married, so this way he could get into the U.S. And then, of course, her husband, any one of those husbands she's got. Let's get that paperwork and see if this woman's committing fraud, because let's admit it, we just found that there is tens of billions of dollars of fraud in Minnesota and nothing's being done about it, and she got rich out of nowhere. Maybe the dots connect. So she submits that, and the Republican-led House rejects her motion. In other words, rips it up and says, no, we're not going to do that. So explain to me what Congress is supposed to be doing, because the only thing that I see Congress doing is trading stocks and getting better returns than Warren Buffett. So I guess if you want to be a very rich person and get away with fraud, go to Congress. If you want to try to get America to be great again, well, click your heels 3 times and pray to the Wizard of Oz, because that's probably the chance that you've got.
I know that they play on the same team too much, I think. All right, Colin, this one's for you especially. This British woman gets attacked, harassed, and they're trying to arrest her for her language against the illegals. The illegals are there. They harass her and attack her, and she uses the wrong language against them. Watch this. This is in Britain.
So you have a problem with my words?
Yes.
Because a filthy migrant just spat on me? Yeah, that is
and you've got the issue with me.
We have a duty to challenge that language, yeah, because we're police officers. And it's
because he's filthy and he's migrant and he attacked me like the other one.
We're trying to help you report which is offensive, isn't it? We can't not challenge that language because
there's people in the public.
Okay, what's your numbers? So you'll find my language offensive. 1483
Yeah, I do find it
3028.
I'm still happy to help you with your crime, but we have to
1192.
challenge you when you use language like that.
Especially when you're here in the public as well, because obviously there's people walking past us.
I think that's fair.
Well, I think filthy migrants attacking English people is disgusting.
Yeah, but you're also swearing as well, madam.
And that's an issue. Since when is swearing a crime?
We have to get spoken to with respect too. Like
and you're in public where there's people, kids
we're
not
human
too far
beings
away.
just doing our job.
People can hear that.
Well, I'm not interested in the PC lecture. If you want to take my details, that's fine.
Can you believe that? It's so bad. They're more worried about what she said to them than them spitting and hitting her. It's unbelievable to me. I don't know. All right, here's a CIA director, John Radcliffe, I guess you call him. Yeah. Well, anyways, he puts out a bombshell
about what the Obama Justice Department ordered federal lawyers to do and not to do concerning the Hillary Clinton email investigation. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge tells us in sworn testimony on Capitol Hill, one of the insiders told lawmakers what she was told.
During closed-door testimony last summer, former FBI lawyer Lisa Page said the Obama administration's Justice Department advised the FBI not to pursue the gross negligence statute for Hillary Clinton in the mishandling of classified information. Former U.S. Attorney and House Republican John Radcliffe led the line of questioning about the statute, known as 18 U.S.C. 793. Radcliffe, you're making it sound like it was the department that told you you're not going to charge gross negligence because we're the prosecutors. Page interrupted. That is correct. Page's testimony appears to conflict with then FBI Director James Comey's recommendation in July 2016 against criminal charges for Clinton.
What I can assure the American
Comey's such a friggin' scumbag.
People is that this investigation was done honestly, competently, and independently.
And the fix was in.
Independently. No outside influence of any kind was brought to bear.
Unbelievable. That guy should already be in handcuffs 5 times over. Statute of limitations crap. It's about Fetterman here.
Your Democratic colleagues say that they don't think the administration has a clear end game in Iran. Do you have concerns about how they know when to be done with Iran?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much aware that I'm the only Democrat in the Senate that supports this operation. I'm going to continue to do that. And I would remind all of your viewers, whether it was Hillary Clinton when she was running for president.
And I want the Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Because whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally...
Well, now they got missiles that can make California and stuff like that, so...
obliterate them.
It will be totally, again...
They can hit us with a nuke.
Obliterated.
Or Kamala Harris when she was running just in 24. In fact, she actually identified Iran as her top concern. You know, she called Iran a grave danger.
I'm clear-eyed. Iran...
Oh, you're right, Colin. If she was spitting on them, she'd be in jail for years.
Is a destabilizing, dangerous force in the Middle East, and let us...
They were pushing her around and everything, too, Colin.
Be clear, Iran is not only a threat to Israel, Iran is also a threat to American personnel in the region, American interests, and innocent civilians across the region.
And now every single Democrat agrees that they can never allow Iran to acquire a nuclear bomb. And now Donald Trump has done that, made that virtually impossible to achieve their nuclear weapons, and they've effectively broke the entire Iranian military apparatus. I don't know why we as Democrats
think it's too many facelifts, Marianne, on her eyes always being open.
If we had all those kinds of goals and those kinds of concerns, and now that he's achieved that, why now we only can criticize that? Or they could always make it seem like it's been a failure or things are out of control. That's just categorically not true.
Democrats.
All right, the Democrats in Virginia actually passed this HB 61. Watch.
Virginia just passed a bill that prioritizes government contracts based on race and gender. The bill, HB 61, is now sitting on the governor's desk waiting to be signed. So here's what it does.
And that Spamberger, she's going to sign this damn thing.
It forces state agencies to hit a 42% quota for
Well, actually, she already has signed it. This is like 3 days old.
SWAM businesses, meaning businesses owned by minorities, women, or certain designated groups. It also sets aside government contracts under $100,000.
That means you can't get the job. Forget about it.
Specifically for those businesses. Translation, if you're a small business owner who doesn't fall into those categories, you're pushed to the back of the line, not because of price or quality or experience, but because of race and gender quotas. That's not equality. That's state-mandated discrimination in government contracting. And it's happening right here in Virginia.
Okay, the next one I got is about New York City and the cops on what side they're on here.
I think Khamenei would have loved you. As a woman, what makes you stand against the women of Iran? What? Is this really? Why aren't you arresting these people? I'm Zach Sage Fox, about to go under
They're on the side of the infidels here.
cover at Khamenei's vigil in New York City.
The Allah people.
Dictator, the Ayatollah, and the oppressor of millions. Rest in piss. How does this work? Where do I put flowers? Okay, thank you. I just want to say I'm so happy for your loss. Can I ask you a little bit about it?
Hey, Charles.
We're with Iran. We're with the resistance.
It isn't the resistance against the IRGC?
No.
Where's that bad? Are you sad Khamenei's dead?
I'm not sad. He's a brave martyr.
I'm allowed to? You're in a public space. I can go wherever I want. Yeah, this is private property. Washington Square Park is whose property? You're insane. No, I'm gonna go pay my respects to Daddy Khamenei. You guys are setting up a public display, a public vigil. I'm asking questions about it.
Can you get back, please?
Who is paying for all of this? Violence erupting everywhere. The police not doing anything. The police are on the side. They're watching people standing against this disgusting protest get assaulted, and they are on their fucking side. I can't believe this. They're not arresting the terrorists. Are you in charge of this disgusting vigil? Are you not going to say anything as your people are literally attacking people on camera? This girl's running away. Mamdani supports this. Mamdani's wife, like posts from October 7th. Do you support the Ayatollah?
No, I don't. But I don't support the Israeli attacks neither.
But why? If he's gone, who cares who does? Who did it?
Well, I feel
he's
like
oppressing millions and millions of women and Iranian women. Do you really care?
I don't think taking away one person is going to make an entire regime fall. That's never happened. You know what I mean?
Hitler, Japan. As a woman, what makes you stand against the women of Iran? So why do you like Khamenei? Okay, you guys are physically attacking me now. Why are the cops just watching?
We did this for Israel. Let's not make.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did. Yes,
okay,
we did.
Okay, Khamenei tried to assassinate the president of the United States, and they've killed hundreds of Americans. Don't touch our camera. Don't touch. This is Israel. This is. You think you're gonna get arrested? This is the symptom of a bigger problem we have in America. You guys are in support of this. Ridiculous. You are. You just assaulted someone on camera, you idiot. This is public property. This is public property. I'm attacking. I'm asking questions. You guys are physically. Wait. This is not legal. Why aren't you doing anything? No. Why aren't you doing anything?
I've dealt with Antifa before, and they do what they only do stuff when they outnumber you, big time.
If you are a police officer, sir, why aren't you stopping this? They're physically assaulting me. How is it legal this is even happening, and that you guys are protecting them with this thing?
You have to talk to the deputy commissioner of because we're not taking interviews.
But why are you guys protecting these people?
Deputy commissioner of public information. Thanks, Phil.
The cops are more concerned about the jihadists on American soil than they are about the citizens that are protesting this bill. NYPD, am I allowed back in here? You guys just watch me get assaulted. You're not doing anything. This is Mamdani's New York, ladies and gentlemen. The cops are on the side of the Ayatollah. Shock.
Ayatollah, that's a word I was looking for earlier. All right. If they had a majority, they wouldn't be so peaceful, Muslims, once they get a majority.
Have you ever noticed that every single time there's a terrorist attack linked to Muslims, which is 99% of the time, we are immediately told about the peaceful Muslim majority. Like, oh, don't say that. You're going to be Islamophobe because most of them are peaceful. Okay, fine. Let's say that most of them are peaceful. I want to ask a serious question. What is this mostly peaceful majority doing about the minority that keeps killing people? Like, what are they doing? Are they speaking up about it at all? Because, you know, the attacks keep happening, different cities, different countries, same words, Allahu Akbar. And we keep being told that, oh no, this has nothing to do with ideology, nothing to do with the religion, nothing to do with the belief system behind Islam. Really? Because let's think about it for a second. Have you ever seen someone exploding themselves, killing women and children in public, and then screaming, you know, Christ is king? I've never seen such thing. And I am sure if this ever happened, all of us Christians would come up and be so against it. We would condemn it. Like, we would be so loud that something like that would probably never happen again. But we don't see this.
I can see your comments, Charles.
The same thing with Muslims. I'm sorry, but if you're silent in the face of evil, that means you're protecting the people who are committing the violence. So how much longer are we going to accept being told that?
I think part of the problem with Wimkin is probably could use a few more servers. If it gets overloaded, then a lot of the issues happen.
Just having common sense and seeing things for what they are makes you a bigot. Because the longer we refuse to tell the truth, the more innocent lives are going to be lost because of this nonsense.
All right, here's my friend Danielle Carter again, talking about fake news and stuff.
Consumer investigator Jason Knowles is here with what he uncovered. Jason?
ABC News, ABC-owned stations, and the I-Team are finding that too many Black and Latino homeowners are being highballed. They are more likely to pay higher property taxes because their homes are assessed at relatively higher values, and sometimes because of higher tax rates in their communities.
Well, the issue is they're trying to drive them out of there. They want rent only. They don't want people to own.
But Twyla Hayes says her South suburban family home is slipping away.
I don't think necessarily it's a race issue as it is the area they want. Sort of like people being driven out of the Palestine area and Hawaii there.
I was stunned. I thought it was outrageous.
It started with a staggering Cook County reassessment. Her home's value jumped from $116,000 to $240,000. Then the tax bill more than doubled to more than $12,000 a year.
It's absolutely a nightmare.
Hayes' property tax bill, which gets paid from her mortgage escrow, meant an increase to her mortgage payment.
I was paying $950 a month, and then it went to $2,304 a month.
An ABC News analysis found that nationwide, homeowners in majority-minority neighborhoods are too often paying more in property taxes as a percentage of their home's total value than homeowners in majority-white neighborhoods. In Cook County, the I-Team found that more than 11,000 properties in the south suburbs saw their property tax assessments increase twofold or more in its most recent assessment. The most recent assessment for the north suburbs showed only
my message thing isn't working here.
0.2% of properties saw their assessed value double or more. In the city of Chicago, over 12,000 properties more than doubled in assessed value between the last two assessment cycles, mostly on the south and west sides of the city.
They are creating urban deserts where people have to leave their homes. We are overassessed.
The I-Team first reported in 2024 about how higher assessments can hurt people in south and southwest suburbs more. That's because the state of Illinois relies heavily on municipalities to pay for schools when compared to most states. So south and southwest suburbs have higher property tax rates, mostly to fund schools. The north suburbs have lower property tax rates because they have higher valued homes, more businesses, and more wealth to go around.
We tend to see then that African American and Latino communities on average are paying higher tax rates.
University of Chicago professor Christopher Berry studies public policy and urban innovation. His recent study helped expose the problem of people of color too often being highballed.
I probably use the messenger at least about once a day on Wimkin.
Across the nation.
The assessor says that lower valued homes are worth more than they actually are, whereas for high valued homes, the assessor says they're worth less than they are. For a long time, Cook County was one of the worst offenders.
Now fake news wants to talk about this. After we have lost hundreds, thousands of homes, me, myself, businesses, through
they tax you out of your properties is what they're doing.
Yes, high assessed property taxes. Now they want to talk about this. A modern day form of redlining in our communities. Now they want to talk about this. Cook County Board President Tony Prewinkle, she knew about this. She's in on it. They're all in on it. Go to any Democratic-led city and state, and this is what you're going to find in the urban communities.
They want us to own nothing, not even your own toothbrush, and they will be happy. That's the whole socialist program. They want the state to allocate everything.
Miss Jackson, Zoe, now myself, because they took my building through unjust high property taxes. They assess too high. And then when you go to try to get help, don't nobody know what to do, how to help, they don't know who did that. The city blaming the county blaming the state. It's all, don't nobody have any answers. But yet you get another property tax bill that's even higher than the one you went to them to complain about. And we're just going to keep voting for the same thing. This is just what we have normalized and allowed to happen in our communities. And we are just going to somehow just keep voting for more. That's why I took you on the trip and let you see my community, all the abandoned buildings and homes that used to be occupied by citizens in the community. Now they're just boarded up with all the signs, the Democratic signs saying, vote for me. I keep telling you all, keep playing with these people. Keep playing with these Democrats. This is what they want for us. Free stuff is not free. They promise you all of these free things, but it's not free. You're paying for it. The poor gets poorer and the rich get richer because the Democratic Party, especially in these cities and states, they are the ones that's benefiting off our tax dollars, off us being poor. They go into those seats poor and come out rich, or while they're still sitting in those seats, they become rich. Just like George Orwell said in the book 1984, you will own nothing and be happy. Don't let it happen.
It's the powerful own everything, and they'll be happy because they'll control everything.
Guys, it's time to wake up. It's time to rise.
And they pretty much make you do whatever they want.
That's up. We keep saying, if you don't, you're going to look around and you're not going to have anything to leave your family, to leave your kids. The only people that's happy right now are your politicians in these cities and states and illegal aliens. Y'all better wake up. Seriously, you better wake up real soon. These people have no respect for you. How is it that Jesse Jackson Jr. right now is running for Congress in the 2nd district? Now, this man went to jail. First of all, he claimed to be bipolar. So that in itself should not warrant you to be able to go to Congress. You're bipolar. You're not even mentally stable, but you claim to be bipolar. Then you went to jail for stealing almost $1 million of your campaign funds, which they believe is more. But let's just stick with that, $750,000. Then you come out of jail because you go to jail for that. You come out of jail. You have no policies. All you do is tell people to vote for you because you're a Jesse Jackson Jr. and you're a Democrat. Nothing else. No explanation why you did what you did. No explanations for you. I don't have to tell you anything. I don't have to answer anything about what I did and the money that I took. I don't have to do that. All I have to do is come out and tell you, shake your hand and tell you to vote for me because I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. and I'm a Black and I'm a Democrat. That's all they have to give you. Look at Robin Kelly yesterday. Had no policies, but yet and still she's asking us to vote for her. No policies. And then when you have real voters with real questions, you have no answers. And then you have an attitude because how dare you even ask me a question? Christian Maxwell asks Robin Kelly a simple question. You're in Congress right now. What legislation have you drafted or implemented or pushed for American citizens because we are losing our business, small businesses? We are losing it through high property taxes, through, things like that. What have you done to help just the small business community? No answers to that question. None. Not one. Couldn't come up with one thing she did. But yet, if you asked her about ICE and what she's going to do to abolish ICE, right off the top, she would have came out and told you.
Oh, they want all those illegal voters here. That's why. They'll even give them all the printed money there just to keep them here. It's about control.
Everything she's going to do to abolish ICE to help illegal aliens stay here, because that's what she's been talking about. That's all they run on. That's all they campaign on. I'm sure she could have came off the top of her head with that. But hey, nothing for you. Nothing for you, the American citizens who I'm telling to vote for me, because she's not asking, she's telling. But yet, I don't have anything for you. I'm not in Congress right now doing anything for you to make your life better. And how dare you ask me, what have I done right now? How dare you question me? Hey, you know your place. Vote blue no matter who. You know what time it is. Come on, guys.
Now, remember me doing the show the other day? The blue and red are switched here in America. Everywhere else, it's the other way around. They did that because of both Nixon and Reagan winning like 49 out of 50 states. It's unbelievable. Here's Spamberger. Virginia voters, watch this. This is something.
Madam President, I wish the senator from Eastern Fairfax could hear himself. Because we think this job has gotten dangerous in the last couple of years. Well, how many Virginians out?
Yeah, I forgot. Let me start it again. This is about the gun control they're passing. They're going to try to take away everyone's gun. But the provision in the law that they're passing, this will piss you off, is they're going to have more rights if they're an elected official. They can have guns without any licensing and all that kind of crap. But the regular citizens aren't going to be able to have the guns.
Madam President, I wish the senator from Eastern Fairfax could hear himself. Because we think this job has gotten dangerous in the last couple of years. Well, how many Virginians out there believe that they're in a situation where they need to protect themselves? But yet we don't listen to them. Well, not me, but this body's not going to listen to them because they think they need to have this protection. We're going to carve something out for General Assembly members. That to me is beyond the pale. General Assembly, we are a citizen legislature. We are citizens just like everybody else. We go back home. We interact with their constituents. We're a part of the community. We are no better than anybody else. And we should never vote for a bill that gives us a special privilege over any other citizen.
Senator from Western.
Can you believe that? So they won't have to abide by the same rules. In fact, they'll have even better rules. And yeah, in chat there about the racism thing, he used it to shake people down, like Gregory was saying. Unbelievable. All right, here's everyone in Iran. Watch this.
Guys, please just stop for a second. Against my better judgment, I checked my phone at 4 a.m. and read a long message from someone inside Iran. He had a lot of trouble connecting. He finally did. He's a source I trust. And what he wrote was heavy enough that I feel really responsible to pass it on. His core point is this: people inside Iran are not divided or waiting it out. They are captives. He says the smallest act can mean prison or death. A chant from a balcony, a short video, and even connecting to the open internet can get you arrested or killed. That's the reality on the ground. When people outside say, why don't Iranians use this opportunity? Under that kind of pressure, nobody is calmly organizing a movement in public. People still go to work and buy food. As you know, there are armed militias in the streets. Warning texts are coming for using the internet and harsher sentences for anything the regime calls security. Open organizing is almost impossible, and that is not just one person's feelings. Consistently, the message we're getting from inside consistently, they say we get very nervous when bombs stop because we're afraid America and Israel are about to walk away again and leave us alone with this regime. His message to us in the diaspora is very blunt, and I want you to pay close attention. We are effectively their representatives, whether we like it or not. When we repeat soft no war slogans without naming the regime, or when we stand in the middle to protect our own political ideology, we are not being neutral. We help keep the same people in charge of the same prisons. The main demand is regime change, removing the leadership of the Islamic Republic so people inside can finally act without a gun to their head. No rebranding or repackaging of this regime as reformed. He also says there is someone many of us do trust as a transitional leader, Prince Reza Pahlavi. You don't have to agree on every detail, but pretending there is no transitional option only serves the regime. And there's one urgent practical demand: internet. Blackouts are a weapon. When the internet is out, people don't get warnings. They can't coordinate. They can't show the world what is happening. Governments, tech companies, people like Elon Musk, anyone with power over infrastructure need to treat Iranian connectivity as emergency, not a talking point. So if you're speaking about Iran from the safety of the diaspora.
Yeah, because a lot of information isn't getting out of there, and it needs to. Did you know that they've been able to take out, their own people have been able to take out 4 of the not high level, mid-range level leaders? They've taken them out. The ones that, over the cop force, basically. 4 of them have been killed or assassinated.
The ask from inside is very simple. Stop hiding behind the no war slogans that erase the regime. Say clearly that the goal is regime change, not regime rebranding, and push for real internet access, real political pressure, instead of content that just makes us feel better. Please watch today's stories. I will give you a lot of instructions. Join my Telegram channel. The link is in my bio. And if you support this message, please engage with this post and share it so it reaches people who can actually act.
Do they know that the message is down? Yeah, the blackouts, and then they can lie, and they're lying to the people over their radios and stuff like that. Biden's regime committed mass crimes over kids and stuff. Well, the thing I had, it's not very well written here. Sorry.
I state without reservation that the United States federal government is the world's largest child sex trafficking organization in modern history.
It is.
The probability that thousands of these UACs are being raped at this very moment is 100%. Chairman Higgins, Ranking Member Correa, Chairman Bishop, Ranking Member Ivey, and the members of the subcommittee, I appreciate the opportunity to speak about the evil of child trafficking caused by the open border policies under President Joe Biden and his administration. I served in the United States Border Patrol for 24 years until I retired as a Deputy Patrol Agent in charge in San Diego sector. I worked under 5 presidential administrations, and only one president secured the border, President Donald Trump. Border Patrol agents went from working and being supported by the greatest border president in American history to the worst, President Joe Biden. My last year in the Border Patrol was Joe Biden's first year in office. On his first day in office, I watched in disbelief as 94 executive orders cascaded down from Washington, D.C., obliterating every immigration policy that had been provided the most secure border in America's history. Border Patrol agents were forced to carry out unconstitutional orders that violated every law in the Immigration Nationality Act. President Biden, through Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, created policy out of thin air, ignored federal immigration law, and facilitated the largest mass invasion into America that the world has ever seen. The United States of America will have spent hundreds of billions of dollars in 4 years to fund the needs of over.
My understanding is there's a bunch of referrals for prosecution of all of them.
50 million illegal aliens that populate our nation. Between 1 in 6 and 1 in 7 residents in America is an illegal alien. America has suffered the greatest demographic shift in modern history. After serving in the United States Border Patrol for 24 years, spending a year researching and writing a best-selling book entitled Invaded.
It's all part of their plan.
The intentional destruction of the American immigration system, and filming 2 documentaries, I state with complete certainty that Biden, Harris, and Mayorkas intentionally, strategically, and purposely weaponized illegal immigration and used it as a tool to fundamentally transform America. Inside this invasion, the unspoken evil of child trafficking, and more specifically, child sex trafficking, has flourished. At the end of this current administration, the number of children trafficked will have grown to over 550,000 unaccompanied alien children known as UACs. This horrific number of children will have been arrested, released into America, and then lost. To put this into context, during President Trump's last year in office, Customs and Border Protection arrested 30,557 UACs who were accounted for and not.
John, they're trying to stop the border wall in Austin, Texas? Are you kidding? They need it there more than anywhere. That's a lot of leftist college students, I bet.
Lost. Conversely, in the first year of Biden's presidency, CBP arrested 147,975 UACs, most of which are unaccompanied for and lost. In 2023, Congressional Hearings, Health and Human Services, Javier Becerra, and Director of Office of Refugee Resettlement, Robin Marcos, forced to admit that their agency had no contact with over 85,000 UACs. They were lost. What did DHS, HHS, and ORR do to correct this humanitarian disaster? Nothing. In fact, all three agencies created further policies and procedures to increase the efficiency of moving UACs from the border to the interior of the United States to unknown and unvetted sponsors. Unaccompanied alien children were being handed off to total strangers. Then they disappeared into the darkness of labor and sex trafficking. In fact, a year later, in August of 2024, the Inspector General, with oversight over DHS, issued a report stating the number lost UACs was not 85,000, it was over 320,000. My business partner, Ryan Matt, and I spent 6 months traveling across America, filming a documentary titled, "What is Treason Trafficked?" The evil of child sex trafficking is difficult.
I think Charles, it's real liberal too, because it is the capital. You know, every capital, like here, Albany's very crazy liberal. All the liberals try to get into government. And
To digest and understand.
And sometimes they'll work on a Republican staff and harm them.
However, after conducting numerous interviews with officers,
so they were part of the child trafficking, using these kids. That's what they were.
Agents and whistleblowers from every alphabet agency and department, it was made clear to us that the federal government knowingly and actively facilitated these criminal acts.
Yep. So they were all part of it. I bet you they made money off of it too. I bet you. Okay, here's your daily thing from Hopkins, Katie Hopkins. She's funny. Watch her.
Breaking news here in batshit bonkers Britain, where the Green Party, led by Comedy Dave, Call Me Zach, says it wants to get rid of the Church of England, thereby deleting any reference to the UK as a Christian country. We can see where this...
See, Christianity has been the target from the beginning. They want to get rid of Christianity.
Is heading. The Green Party says it's a secular party, but we've all seen them bend over so hard to the Muslim vote that old Iqbal can virtually see daylight down Zach's throat. In other news, it's time for comic relief again. I mean, comic relief has always been about as funny as Chronic Piles, and I should know. But most people in the UK have woken up to the fact that big charity is in fact a kind of investment bank operation. They hoard their cash into an investment portfolio so they get the dividends of the interest to pay huge pension funds, and your donations actually go to paying the six-figure salary of the CEO and other unnecessary staff. Always give local. And on that note, British Airways, please stop making your poor staff walk up and down the aisles asking for donations for Flying Start. No one has coins anymore. It's embarrassing for your staff, and no one really gives a single shit about giving some kid in some other country a Flying Start when we need to be looking after our own. And finally, a gentleman called Lee comes back from his hollybobs, probably had a few sneaky lagers at the airport on his way, and then got arrested by 6 armed officers at the airport for a hurty Facebook post where someone might have been offended. I mean, I hope he didn't call himself a spaz, because that truly would be terrible. I mean, isn't it a great thing that our borders here in the UK are so secure? That's it, my darlings. Batshit bonkers Britain. And this, nothing. I was just, making a roast.
I was commenting to you, Gregory. I was saying some have no honor, anymore. So yeah, he is a piece of crap. He's part of the globalists, don't you think, Kurt? I think he is. God wants him out. Naturals, right. Okay. Yep. Sorry, I'm catching up on chat. All right, let's get on to the Fauci stuff here. Waters did a great job on this whole report last night. Here we go.
The fall of Fauci. That's the subject of tonight's Waters Words. We expect politicians to lie to us, but we don't expect scientists to. But that's exactly what happened. Anthony Fauci hasn't been telling the truth, and he's been caught. The Fauci era is officially over. The cover-up's crashing down. For the Democrats, he's too big to fail. And the media is doing everything it can to preserve the Fauci legacy. But there's no turning back now. Hundreds of pages of his emails throughout the pandemic have been revealed. The emails don't look good for Fauci, the scientific community, and the U.S. government. Stay with us here because it gets messy. On January 31st, 2020, top scientist Christian Andersen warned Fauci that the virus, quote, potentially looked engineered and had unusual features. The very next day, Fauci replied and said they'd talk later. He started to get worried. Fauci sent an important email to Hugh Auchincloss, his underling, and wrote, quote, "It is essential that we speak this morning. Read this paper. You will have tasks that must be done." With this email, he attached a PDF called Beric She, Nature Medicine, SARS,
You can't stand
gain of function. Ralph Beric, a COVID researcher at the University of North Carolina, trained bat lady, Shi Zheng Li. She was the top researcher at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. They worked together to manipulate viruses to attack other species, including humans.
Especially humans.
Beric and Bat Lady were both funded by Anthony Fauci. The 2015 paper written by Bat Lady
You can't hang him enough times. I think he needs hanging.
and Ralph Beric show they were creating coronaviruses with the highest possible infectivity rate for human cells. In the paper, they even wrote how risky it was.
Kirk, I used to be a boxer back in the early 70s. I took third in the Empire State Games, New York State, third, bronze medal.
Adding that this research was funded by the National Institutes of Health, aka Fauci. Fauci funneled the money through a nonprofit called EcoHealth Alliance. We've told you about it, and we'll get into it later. Now, Fauci denied to Congress that Ralph Beric had done gain-of-function research when asked by Rand Paul. Fauci lied. Hugh Auchincloss replied to Fauci's email, quote, "The paper you sent me says the experiments were performed before the gain-of-function pause, but have since been reviewed and approved by NIH. Not sure what that means. She, a woman named Emily, will try to determine if we have any distant ties to this work abroad." Smoking gun. Fauci sent taxpayer money to Wuhan labs that juiced viruses to attack humans. The U.S. government signed off on this for years. Fauci here's scrambling just to see if his fingerprints are on it, and they are. Fauci then had a call with Christian Andersen.
They're all over it.
After that meeting. Andersen later in March.
I think Fauci wants to cut down on our population of the world. He thinks there's too many people, wants us to die, and he made a lot of money off of it. Because he also pushed that remdesivir after that, the stuff that puts fluid in your lungs and kills you.
March 2020, wrote an article saying the lab leak theory was not true. Emails show Fauci advised on that paper. Then Fauci publicly denied the lab leak theory using the very same article as a source, withholding his involvement in it.
You address these suggestions or concerns that this virus was somehow man-made?
A group of highly qualified evolutionary virologists looked at.
Yeah, I bet Jade off air, we talked a lot about that, how they arrested her, put in jail, because you can't go anti-Muslim about the rape games there. They really don't want that. They're deliberately bringing in Islam because they want to end Christianity, Colin. They really want it out of there fast and quickly and desperately.
The sequences there and the sequences in bats as they evolve and the mutations that it took to get to the point where it is now is totally consistent with a jump of a species from an animal to a human.
No, it's not. And that is the beginning of the cover-up. Vanity Fair report.
They should do a slow strangle hanging. That one, normally when they hang someone, it really just snaps your neck. But you got to do it in a way that they slowly. I'd rather have him suffer. He needs to suffer like everyone else does.
State Department officials were told not to look into gain-of-function research in order to protect the U.S., since we funded the Wuhan lab. More specifically, Fauci funded it. When a State Department group found that 3 Wuhan lab researchers doing gain-of-function research became sick with COVID-like symptoms in 2019, some officials in our government told them not to say anything publicly that could implicate us. One of the officials who said not to speak of it, Christopher Park, the director in the state.
Because Fauci goes down, I think a lot of other people will go down, Colin. I think there's a lot connected to him. A lot of our governments. Do you know in Canada, who was it? The turd Trudeau there was making a lot of money off of this jab by handing all out government money.
Department's biological policy staff. This is the same guy who in 2017 played a part in lifting the pause on gain of function.
Yeah, I seen, Colin, that they arrested some people in England for joke posting now. It can even be a joke one, they'll arrest you.
Funding that Fauci's underling had mentioned that we talked about earlier. This research was so risky, America had to pause it. But we didn't. It kept going. In another memo Vanity Fair got access to, State Department officials were told not to look further into COVID origins because it would, quote, open a can of worms.
We need to open that can of worms a long time ago. People were dying from that shit.
4 former State Department officials were reportedly told not to, quote, open Pandora's box. It was a cover-up. Fauci was implicated, and therefore the U.S. would be implicated. America pays for products made in China, except this time we paid for a pandemic. And Fauci was worried. On February 1st, Fauci spoke with top virologists. The call was in reference to a document called Coronavirus Sequence Comparison. Now, we don't know exactly what happened on that call, but we do know that it was a highly secret call. Jeremy Farrar, a British physician, told everyone information and discussion is shared in total confidence and not to...
Yeah, and that's a good idea to give them all the jabs. We can experiment on them now.
...be shared until agreement on next steps. The evidence that this was made in the lab is piling up. Alina Chan, a molecular biologist at MIT and Harvard, found that the earliest sequences of COVID-19 had barely any evidence of mutation. Now, if it was natural, there should have been a lot more mutations, like in the 2002 SARS outbreak. Chan wrote that it already seemed, quote, pre-adapted to human transmission. In emails back and forth in April 2020 between Fauci and Francis Collins, the director of the NIH, the subject line was conspiracy gains momentum. Fauci was clearly worried about the possibility this came from a lab, but has repeatedly denied it. Now, remember Peter Daszak.
Usually it's a cover-up that takes him down, but it doesn't seem to be totally doing that yet. Although they do have some cases going against Fauci in like Denmark and a few other places.
The president of EcoHealth Alliance, we told you about him. He's the one who admitted he was working with Bat Lady from the Wuhan Institute of Virology to Frankenstein viruses.
It's government-paid media over there, Colin.
And the one who gave millions to Wuhan from Fauci to study these bat viruses.
You can manipulate them in the lab pretty easily. It's just spike protein drives a lot of what happens with the coronavirus, zoonotic risk. So you can get the sequence, you can build the protein, and we work with Ralph Barrick at UNC to do this. Insert it into a backbone of another virus, and do some work in the lab.
Now, when Fauci debunked the lab theory, Daszak wrote him an email, personally thanking him and telling him his comments were brave. Daszak was on the WHO commission trip that determined the virus didn't come from a lab. So Fauci's comments directly benefited Daszak. Facebook then put Daszak on its fact-check team. Dazzik's job at Facebook was to
Colin, the only people I know that got sick with the virus were the ones that got the jab. Really. I didn't get sick with it.
kill any posts about the Wuhan lab leaks. Zuckerberg also killed the Hunter Biden laptop story. Why does it seem everything the media does benefits China? But there's more. A physicist, Eric Nilsson, wrote Fauci an email in March 2020 saying how China was lying
They'll probably find some place they can go hide in another country.
About their
Maybe
COVID
Africa.
deaths. He wrote, quote, I need to clear my conscience because it's possible, albeit unlikely, that some of what I tell you is new and possibly useful in, at least, saving lives in the USA. Fauci just sent the email to someone from the NIH and wrote, quote, too long for me to read. But Fauci had plenty of time to sit down for magazine cover stories, appear on countless TV shows, and even throw out the first pitch at the Nationals game. Fauci's email.
Did you see his throw that day? Oh my God. I think a little girl could have thrown left-handed better.
Emails with Dr. George Zhao, the director of the Chinese CDC, were also revealed. Did Dr. Fauci ever ask his Chinese colleague about the lab? No. Not one single question about where the virus came from. These emails prove Fauci was warned that China
because they knew where it came from.
Was lying. They had created COVID in a lab. He was worried about it, worried he'd funded it because he did, but did nothing about it except deceive the American people. Fauci's the highest paid federal employee, making over $400,000 a year. All of that money coming out of your pockets, and you're being lied to. Fauci even wrote a book during the pandemic. Remind you of Andrew Cuomo, maybe. Another deceitful narcissist who profited from the pandemic. And
what's his password? 69, Charles?
There is some responsibility for the death toll. Cuomo and Fauci, both media myths, drunk off their own egos.
We're like the modern day De Niro and Pacino. You can be whichever you want. You can be the De Niro or Pacino. Fauci and
this guy Cuomo, my former governor there. Oh, he was putting a lot of these patients in the nursing homes home so they would get the virus.
Cuomo.
Two mobsters. Like Cuomo, Fauci will cruise through softball interviews until the truth finally catches up to him. The media doing everything it can to put.
I think there's 4 countries now prosecuting him, Kurt. 2 of them in Europe, maybe a place here in America, and where's the other one? I think in Africa.
Put that day off.
The true mark of someone is if they look good, even when their personal emails come out. So you pass the test that very few of us
look good with their personal emails. All the planning
would pass.
She thinks these emails look good. There you have it. The media is complicit in covering up Fauci-gate. The media wants to investigate January 6th, but not a pandemic that cost millions of lives, jobs, and an election. Remember, Fauci got Biden elected. This virus kicked Trump out of office. Fauci locked the whole country down instead of just isolating the elderly, giving the Democrats an excuse to scare everybody into staying home. So,
Tammy, who is his wife? I forget exactly. I forgot. I remember there was something to do with her. Was not good.
They could loosen election laws and mass mail ballots. Fauci,
yeah, Marianne, I don't remember who
shifted the blame from China to Trump. Members of our own government colluded with the Chinese communists to blame random animals instead of telling us the truth. And scientists exposed themselves.
I'm sure there was quite a big money angle on it, probably.
Just as greedy liars instead of truth seekers. Worried their funding from Fauci would dry up. They shut their traps and signed on to a fake consensus, a forced consensus. The real consensus was they all just wanted to get paid. The science was never settled. They play the fake consensus game with global warming. They just want the grant money and they'll spit out whatever the partisan bureaucrats tell them to. All the so-called experts were wrong. And you were right.
Oh, he knew. He knew beforehand. That's why they're covering up the 75 years, thousands and thousands of pages of all the testing they did with it and all that kind of stuff. Oh, it just annoys me to no end. I tell you. This guy's always great. He's from the House of Representatives.
Government organizations. They get a heck of a lot of your money, though, and here's how it works. They're not non-government because you and I fund it.
And NGOs, really.
We borrow the money to send to them. Afghanistan, for instance, where we had the bill to defund the Taliban. It's in the Senate now, and the other side, oh man, they pitched a fit when we added NGOs. We're cutting them off. Because here's what happens. You got these billionaires who hate our guts, want to destroy everything we stand for. They'll put $1 million in some group that has some fancy name, feed the children. I don't know, maybe that's not an accurate one, but anyway, you get the picture. And so they'll put $1 million in there, which is nothing to them, pennies on their dollars. And so they apply for this federal money, and then the unelected bureaucrat in Washington says, oh, they got $1 million, and they're legit. And so then they literally have put billions upon billions of dollars in these things. Afghanistan alone, over 1,000 non-government organizations are working out there. And you add
over 1,000, and they're all getting money out of it.
The UN stuff, and we think it could be multiples of thousands of organizations working out of there. All this bogus stuff. I mean, do you really believe we're spending
They have to end the NGO thing where they can do that all tax-free and them getting government money.
$1 million on a dadgum drag show. Where's the money go? Right back in the pockets of politicians, probably some in Washington. So there's a paper trail. Somebody's going to find out about it, but we know it probably goes into dark money campaigns, fighting good Republicans as well. And anyway, it's got to stop. And thank you, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
And they often will help rhinos, too, if they play ball with them. All right, this is a young British woman being attacked in England by a bunch of illegals. They always use the word migrants. They're illegals. They're attacking her because, they're the illegals and they want to get rid of the white person. Watch this. You really don't want to go down because they love kicking you in the head. Some other people were trying to break it up, but there really wasn't enough number. All right, here's another illegal. They caught him. They're starting to go around, and British people are starting to stand up. They're going after this pedo, illegal, who's going after a 14-year-old girl trying to have sex with her and stuff.
I came here, and yesterday I went to Stockton by walk.
You know notice how often they're from India?
And I also borrow
Your studies has ended now.
Sir,
your studies is at an end now. You will not.
They come over here, get free money to go to college, right? And then they rape the girls?
Be allowed to study criminology.
I'm studying criminology.
No, not now. Not after this. Your study will be terminated.
Please, sir, try.
You were going to end up on the sex offenders register.
You're right, John. I forgot about her.
Register, right?
Please,
you may
sir,
even end up in prison.
I made mistake.
You're pathetic.
I accept it.
He's been vile. He's tortured me for days.
Now he's crying because he can't keep going to college in England. He's going to lose his program. Not from raping the 14-year-old.
I made mistake, but I accept it.
Stand up.
Your mistake, so acceptable when the police come and arrest you, alright?
Hi, Jill.
Okay, then you tell them as well.
Crocodile tears as well.
Sorry, the crying gap doesn't. I'm not buying it.
I'm accepting. Please leave me right now, sir. Please.
Please stand up.
I can do every legal thing, and please leave me alone. If once my mom gets, they will kill me. Please, please. Please, sir. Please,
No.
last time.
No.
That's not how we work. That's not how England
I
works.
can work.
He's upset that he's going to get deported. That's what he's upset about.
For you. Free.
No, you can't work free for us. Not at all.
I can't believe he just says that.
Thanks, Jill. Let me type this and then I'll be right back to you. He's upset that he won't get all the free stuff there in the country. That's why he's upset. Send him to prison. Get raped there. Yeah, maybe he'll like it. I don't know. More of them are gay than you think. Oh, I forgot to tell you. It's turning out this Ayatollah, this last one that lost his leg, is in. It turns out he's in a Russian hospital right now in a coma, I guess. It turns out he's been gay, and he's been gay for a long time. This Ayatollah appointed. He ended up marrying a wife and all this and that, so he could eventually become an Ayatollah. But he has a history of being gay. So $1 million grant from DHS, Minnesota Public Schools.
5 investigates reveals how a convicted fraudster is connected to state grant money awarded to a Minnesota school district.
For months, investigative reporter Eric
Minnesota, aren't you surprised?
Rasmussen has been pushing for transparency and asking who's looking out for taxpayers here.
Well, Lindsay, Kevin, the state gave Faribault Public Schools nearly $1 million. It was a grant to prevent drug abuse back in 2022. We're following up now because one of the champions of that cause was charged with fraud just months after the money started flowing.
We need help. They're the first words on this application to the state for $1 million grant. Now 5 Investigates is connecting those words to the woman who said them.
Lou Ali. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Lul Ali.
We need help. It's not just
You surprised? That's the one that's stealing the money?
School. We need help. Big help.
Months after urging the Faribault School Board to go after grant money from the state in 2022, prosecutors charged Lul Ali with stealing $5 million from taxpayers. She's now one of more than 50 people who pleaded guilty to fraud connected to Feeding Our Future.
We've had several meetings with this lady and a group of people over the last 3 months about it.
These recordings reveal Ali played a key role in the school district pursuing the grant from the Minnesota Department of Human Services to fight drug abuse within Faribault's minority population. At the same time, she was actively stealing millions of dollars from taxpayers. What did you think when you learned that?
And I will say that was quite a shock to us. That was not something that was known to us during that time period. And that is something that the district took as a giant blow. And we did then really start vetting who was it that we were working with.
That's not the only question we had for Faribault Superintendent.
Oh, they had to vet them because they were getting kickbacks otherwise?
Jamie Benty. When the money's coming to the Faribault School District, where does the buck stop when it comes to accountability?
Well, I mean, that's an easy answer. It's me.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes 5-1.
Thank you.
Former school board member Richard Olson was the lone no vote on accepting the grant from DHS.
Was something funny with that. It's something strange.
Later, he said getting in.
Back to the other topic about the guy raping the 14-year-old, this and that. The left helps them out. A lot of it is on the left. They don't believe about any age limits on that. They believe in being able to have sex with kids at day of birth.
Information about how the district was spending the money was difficult.
It's just not given to the board. It should be for the whole board and not to a selected group.
And you've asked for updates before?
Oh, yeah. And do I get them? No.
Does the district have a transparency problem?
I don't believe we have a transparency problem.
By the time I showed up to speak with the superintendent at a public meeting, we had already spent 6 weeks asking the district how it spent all of that grant money. Now, after an open records request, they sent us this stack of documents. But there really wasn't much detail in here beyond total amounts for salaries and...
John, you know how they do it. They go by if you're a minority or something like that, one of the marginalized people, this and that, they give the money out. That's why they're getting it.
payments to nonprofit partners. So we push for more.
NGOs.
Did you ask anybody here at the district how these partners were performing?
So I have not. That has not made it to my level at this point.
2 days later, we got a new stack of records from the district. Finally, details about how it spent $979,000, receipts for new soccer goals and other equipment for a Somali youth soccer league, as well as accounting for after-school programming and youth engagement events. All of that is supposed to be collected by the state.
Theoretically, there's 2 layers of accountability in there, and that's how it is supposed to work.
Nonprofit attorney Jen Urban says her clients are under more scrutiny than ever. From a statewide crackdown on fraud to lawmakers proposing
they should be under more scrutiny.
New restrictions on grants.
Stop this stupid DHS hiring.
And public assistance. Transparency is critical. With everything that's been going on, are these fair questions to ask about where this money was going?
I think it's very fair to ask the question of where the money is going, and I think that as taxpayers, there should be some accountability there.
Now, this whole time, we've been asking the Minnesota Department of Human Services to talk to us about how it keeps tabs on this grant money. They've refused all of our interview requests so far, but just this morning, DHS gave us this new stack of records 2 months after we started asking for it. Yeah, as you'd imagine, I've been going through it all day. The bottom line here is that DHS found Faribault schools,
Colin, they'd steal even more money from us if they can.
quote, in compliance with the grant. But again, this is all information that had not been shared until, of course, we followed up.
You got some homework there.
Took a while to print, too.
We'll be doing it for a while.
Eric Rasmussen.
All right, this one I labeled, they knew, the Canadian government knew what they were doing. Watch this.
Hey, did you guys know that not all governments participated in the depopulation event of 2020 with the vaccines and the mRNA? Yep, found that out last night on night shift. Started to do some research, digging into what vaccines did Russia, China, and India use because they don't have any adverse effects. No stats, nothing. And I figured, you know what, maybe it's
the ones that died were the Western Christian countries.
Because of their reporting system, because they're backwards. Nope. They used viral vector vaccines. However, COVID hasn't been isolated. So how are they using viral vector vaccines? They're not. They're using placebo saline water and telling their, citizens, here, just take this. And they just mildly participated in the lockdowns just to see how people would follow orders. I'm not even kidding. Why Russia didn't widely use mRNA COVID vaccines during the COVID-19 pandemic? Russia mainly used other vaccine technologies developed domestically, such as Sputnik, which is a viral vector, Covivac, which is a whole inactive virus, or Epivac Corona, which is a synthetic, I can't say that online, vaccine. Wow. So then I asked ChatGPT, did China use mRNA vaccines during the pandemic? Mostly no. During most of the COVID-19 pandemic, China did not use mRNA vaccines for its population. So then I asked countries that largely did not use mRNA vaccines: China, Russia, India, Cuba, Tanzania. I asked which countries mainly used mRNA vaccines, and it's
look at the ones that all really had to use it. Christian countries.
Basically all of the Western countries, Canada included. So then that got me curious about the Deagle report, which I've shown on here. And the Deagle report was basically showing how many people need to be depopulated in certain countries for them.
I've seen so much stuff in the past about how they're after Christians. They want to end Christianity
to reach their goal of depopulation. And it mostly involves Western white countries, Christian countries, whatever. The countries that basically know human rights, that they think have gotten lazy over the years, that only know how to consume and that want human rights and working conditions and all of that stuff. And they don't like it because now they can't make money off of it. So then I went and asked which areas or provinces have had the most adverse side effects in all of Canada. And to no one's surprise, it's the conservative province of Alberta, which had the lowest rate of vaccine uptake. These are the adverse effects reporting that we have right now in Canada. But there's probably a lot more because a lot of doctors will just say it's not the vaccine, it's something else. Then I asked ChatGPT to give me the highest serious adverse event reporting rates for the United States, and it gave me that. Isn't it weird how they're saying that we should be depopulated because we've gotten too lazy, but they depopulate the hardest working ones, the ones that know how to live off grid, the ones that know how to self-sustain the most? Wonder why that is.
I think part of it's trying to dumb down the world as well, if you ask me. All right, this is about Islam.
The Muslim world didn't hate America until after Israel was created. The United States actually had good relations with the Arab Muslim world.
Tell me you know nothing about history without telling me you know nothing about history. The United States' first war as a fully formed country was against the Muslim world. In the 1780s, before the US even had a Congress, a constitution, or even its first president, Islamic pirates from the Barbary states of North Africa were attacking American ships and kidnapping and enslaving their crews. Ships like the Dauphin and the Maria were captured, and their crews were taken back to North Africa, where they were humiliated, paraded through the streets to whistles and jeers. So why were Americans being attacked? After all, the United States was in its infancy, and it had no economic or territorial disputes with any Muslim nation in any shape or form. Well, Thomas Jefferson asked the ambassador of Tripoli this exact question, and the ambassador gave the Quran as explicit justification. He said that all nations who didn't recognize Muslim authority were sinners, thus giving them the divine right to make war upon them wherever they were, even adding that those killed in the battle to make infidels slaves were sure to go to paradise. Jefferson understood what many world leaders could learn today, which is that this Islamic fundamentalist worldview was irreconcilable and could only be dealt with force. He launched the first of successive
How bad's the weather coming? That's coming there, John.
Barbary Wars, and it was only through this force of arms that the enslavement of American sailors ended once and for all. And so the historical lesson is clear: when fighting Islamic extremism, whilst the superficial political context may change, the deep-rooted underlying ideology remains the same.
Okay. All right, this one's about Mamdani. She has a lot of facts on this.
This is one of the photos that Zohran Mamdani's wife thought was appropriate to like on her public Instagram. For those of you that might be a little bit confused what's going on in this photo, that is 12-year-old Yagil Yaakov, who was taken hostage on October 7, 2023. He was forced out of his bedroom wearing nothing but his underwear to sit on the lap of a grown-ass man, as another man decided to pull his hair, force him to look at him as he threatened his life, surrounded by weapons. If he did anything, if he so much as made a sound, then he was going to be murdered. After Yagil was brought back to Gaza, they forced him to participate in their propaganda videos. Yagil has spoken at great lengths about how he was forced to say exactly what they wanted, what they had scripted out for him, while a man with a large weapon was aiming at him the entire time, just to remind.
How bad is it there, Marianne? I live in New York and it hasn't hit here. It was actually warm here today, but windy.
And what the consequences would be if he didn't go along with what they wanted. Yagil's father was also murdered that day, and his mother and older brother were also taken.
Yeah, you're going to get a bunch of snow, John?
Hostage. This photo was taken by Hamas because they were so proud of what they were doing, and this was a form for them to celebrate the torture and the kidnapping of children. And Rama Mamdani thought that that was something worth celebrating because the children were Israeli, so they really just don't matter all that much to her.
That's a 60-some degree difference, John. It's crazy. All right, this is about the NGOs, tax service exposed.
So these have come in last night. These have come in last night. 1 boat, 2 boat, 3 boats, 4. There's the engines. These are the engines. These are the engines we found in grave lines.
This is coming into England.
Migrant clothes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look. All their clothes, shoes. The next boat. More dinghies, more dinghies, more dinghies, more clothes. Look, look. Look. There's the fuel. There's the pumps. Who is supplying all of this? Who is supplying it? Look. Boots. Men's boots. Men's shoes. Men's aftershave. Men's coat. Men's jeans. So look, they've got sand on them still from France. Hello? What, mate? I'm having a butcher's. How are you, mate?
We had 68 mile-an-hour winds today.
Can't believe it, mate. Can't believe it. Where are you from, mate? Do you know where I am? Oh, listen. Yeah, I'm having a mooch, man. I can't get my breath. Nice to meet you, mate. Don't say your name. I'm on a live.
Dan, I don't think you're that far from me. I live about an hour from Buffalo.
If you're a friend, mate, happy days. I'm Red Eye Jedi, brother. Are you Red Eye? Ryan, man, raise the colours. Jack's here. Listen, Red Eye, thank you, mate. Thank you for all you do, and all my people now.
Yeah, Colin, is there going to be some elections there? It looks like the Reform Party would win. That'd be a lot better than what you got.
Hey, thank you for all you do, mate. You're Red Eye Jedi, brilliant. And we smash you nicely. So we've got everyone's on code name. This is mental, guys. So there's the pack lunch. So this is the pack lunch that we know that they're given. Look, the sandwiches, the cans of Coke, the water. Look, the apples. The NGOs are facilitating this, and the NGOs give them these pack lunches before they go.
NGOs is tax-free, and it's our tax dollars.
There's the oil, the two-stroke men's coats.
Oh,
chargers for their phones. These are to pump up as they're going. I mean, look at these boats. Who is supplying these?
You're on the east side. You're on the east side of Pennsylvania. Okay. I was thinking more like Pittsburgh or something like that.
These guys. Oh, look, we got a watch. What the hell is that?
That's probably about 4.5 hours from me, I think.
Can't believe how much stuff is here. Another dinghy.
It's happening almost every day. Who pays for all those boats and all that stuff? Oh, yes, it's taxpayers.
More engines? You're telling me this is not orchestrated? 1, 2, 3. There's the
brand new motors and all that kind of stuff just to get them across that channel. Where the? That's a lot of money.
Which is again. Another boat wrapped up. Look,
they use it one time.
Up, ready, deflated and ready to go back. Wrapped up, ready to go back. Wrapped up with rope round it, ready to go back. Wrapped up with rope round it. Look, packed up all nice and nicely, ready to go back.
Oh, that's more like 4 hours. Binghamton's about 4 hours from me. Oh, 4.5.
They tag it up. It's complete bullshit. The whole thing's a lie. Fuck.
The Farmers Party, can they win it? I don't know the Farmers Party. I know that they put a lot of laws in there to try to get rid of your farmers. No clue. I think they want to starve you out there. I don't know. Unbelievable. This whole thing with England here, ship after ship after ship after ship of illegals coming. They're trying to do a Biden there, I think. You don't hate the mainstream media enough. Watch this.
I'm sharing this with you guys because the news is absolute shit and won't share it because it does not fit their narrative. So in Michigan, there was a 21-year-old black man who was driving a vehicle and decided to run down a family. That family was a little white family, a mother, a father, and a 3-year-old daughter, okay? Ran them over with his vehicle, then proceeds to get out of the vehicle with a shotgun and execute the 3-year-old. And then a 70-year-old woman who was on standby and trying to distract him from reloading, he beat her within an inch of her life. So I don't know why the news is not reporting on this because this seems like something that we should know about.
Has anyone heard that in the news? Where's the big media on that one? Oh, yeah, that wasn't illegal to go around executing people after running them over. I think it was all part of their Islam hating us. All right, this is about the solar panels farms. Well, did you know that how much damage it does to the soil in the state? You can't even farm on this land after they're done.
You mentioned solar panels, Dave. Here's the trouble we're having in my district is we have a big potato growing industry. Posen has
up by us as well, yeah.
And they're having to sign off on these that you can't grow potatoes on this land where solar arrays are set up anymore because of the metal shards and the glass shards and the leaking.
And the leaching. Leaching of the heavy metals. Yep, Frito did the same thing with the potato growers up by us. Any field that had solar panels installed on it will never be allowed to grow potatoes for human consumption due to the leaching. So the heavy metal component on these solar panel fields is real.
Exactly. And where do they get those heavy metals from? China.
Well, will that split the vote enough with that party, with the Reform Party, that the liberals or even the Tories, which are kind of liberal, get back in power? I think they need both those parties need to go bye-bye.
Controls mostly African trade and Southwest Asia trade.
And using children
for
labor.
Yes. Yeah. And slave labor that they use for all kinds of things, manufacturing iPhones and so forth.
Unbelievable. But they want to use this all the time. All right, Yale medical student invites Columbia PhD president on a kill white people. They wanted to kill whites. This PhD and Yale medical student is in Columbia put her on the thing. So she's teaching at these schools.
I had fantasies of unloading a revolver into the head of any white person that got in my way, burying their body, and wiping my bloody hands as I walked away relatively guiltless. With a bouncing like that, like I did the world a fucking favor. This is the cost of talking to white people at all. The cost of your own life as they suck you dry. There are no good apples out there. White people make my blood boil. Psychological predicament, because white people feel that we are bullying them when we bring up race. They feel that we should be thanking them for all that they have done for us. They are confused, and so are we. Can you hear me okay? Yes? Okay. We keep forgetting that directly talking about race is a waste of our breath. We are asking a demented, violent predator who thinks that they're a saint or a superhero to accept responsibility. It ain't gonna happen. They have 5 holes in their brain. It's like banging your head against a brick wall, just like sort of not a good idea. We need to remember that directly talking about race to white people is useless because we're at the wrong level of conversation. Addressing racism assumes that white people can see and process what we are talking about. They can't. That's why they sound demented. They don't even know they have a mask on. White people think it's their actual face. We need to get to know the mask.
And we wonder why these leftists are coming out of the colleges. It's beyond me that she even has a job. All right, this is about California arguing about the weather. What they want to do, what they are doing in California, is they're taxing you a mileage tax on your property, estimating how far you have to go to work. You know, they give you like a, say you live in a certain area, even if you don't go to work or something like that. It's unbelievable. And then in the future, they're going to tax you another tax. They're trying to drive you out of your home. So watch this.
Everyone's arguing about whether California's mileage tax is real or just a study.
I made a video earlier this week noting that AB 1421 is just a study on a mileage tax.
I'm going to settle this right now. They already passed it. Assembly Bill 130, Newsom's CEQA Reform Bill, page 137, section 58. While everyone's watching AB 1421, the study, they slid a vehicle mileage travel tax into the budget bill.
And they slid in a mileage tax, but they call it a vehicle mileage tax, a VMT.
But they didn't put it in your car. Not yet. They put it on your house.
Instead, they're going to start increasing the cost of housing in California by charging every developer who builds a house or a housing project a mileage tax.
Every new home, every new apartment, developers get charged based on how far the people who might live there might have to drive to work.
The estimate, $324,000 per home or apartment built.
The estimated cost, $324,000 per unit. That's $1,350 per month. Added to your rent. No public vote. No cap on how high it goes. Buried deep inside a bill, they told you it was about fixing environmental review. And a sitting California assemblyman said it on camera. They're not going to stop with houses. They're going to go after your drivers.
AFD, Marianne, I think that's the one in Germany, AFD. They definitely are the best party for Germany. They're nationalists. That's what they are. So they get called racist.
Correctly.
Look, they're not going to stop with just the VMT for new houses. They're going to go after...
The Green Party will vote with the leftists there, Colin, I'm sure.
A mileage tax directly on drivers.
Housing first, your car is next. Study, my ass.
It's all about extracting money. and they want it to cost so much to get to work and stuff like that. They're trying to make you dependent on the government. That's what they want. They want you to depend on the money, and they get you voting for them forever. All right, Department of Justice confirms that they are processing criminal referrals from the Director of the National Intelligence for Obama-era officials. Here we go.
We have some wild breaking news out of the Department of Justice today at The Real Cindy Alexis. My main account was permanently banned, so you can like, share, and follow me here. The Department of Justice has just confirmed that they have received criminal referrals from the Director of National Intelligence for the following persons: former President Barack Obama, James Clapper, John Brennan, Susan Rice, Loretta Lynch, Andy McCabe, and John Kerry. Now, this is in regard to manufacturing and for politicizing intelligence in order to subvert the election results in 2016 with President Trump. So this is currently breaking. They have in their possession the criminal referral with over 100 pages of documents, emails, and memos.
This is why we must win midterms, or they're going to block it if they win Congress.
As this continues to break, I will bring it to you the minute I get it.
Now I'm seeing that we're winning some special elections in Texas and some other places, so maybe we'll win some. They actually won in California too. That was surprising. All right, United States is probably raising the American flag, the Marines again. Back in, I think it was New Jersey. I forgot where. Oh, it was the embassy. Here we go. It hasn't been up there in like 9 years.
The American flag represents possibility, hope, and freedom. It represents sacrifice, struggle, and overcoming insurmountable challenges. The United States Marines who care for the American flag know that better than anyone else. The raising of the flag today symbolizes all that lies ahead for the people of Venezuela and the United States.
This next one, Chanel from OAM, they're talking about Karen Bass from California there. Looks like she's got some Cuban assets and that. She's pretty dirty.
Once we take control of the Cuban Intelligence Directorate, called the DI, all of its archives going back to 1959, all of its operational files to today, all of its dossiers on everybody, even its management, and continue to pay them, but they're going to work for us now. We can identify the Cuban subversion networks around the world and in our country. We can disrupt them here. We can finally start making arrests, people here who've been embedded in our society as spies and as agents, like, say, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. We've talked about her before. She's, she's been a recruited Cuban agent for half a century, and she was a member of Congress, as was Congresswoman Barbara Lee, a former Congresswoman Barbara Lee, and so many others. And they just don't recruit left-wingers. They've recruited conservatives as well. Wow. Recruited anti-communists as well in the Cuban American movement. So it's widespread. So we can,
and Trump's taking that all down.
If we can capture those intelligence services and basically tell the Cuban leaders, you're all going to go.
Taking them down has to do with taking out Venezuela and Iran.
Spend your rest of your lives in American prisons unless you cooperate with us on everything. I think you're going to see a lot of hearts and minds change right away.
All right, here's more about foreign influence. This is the last one I'm going to do because we're almost up to 7 p.m. Here's about foreign intelligence, collusion, treachery, and all that kind of stuff. Conspiracy. Here we go.
By a member of the Ukrainian parliament. Let's talk about the tape recording. Evidence.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know much about it because it's floating around Ukraine. But we do know the general prosecutor of Ukraine, our equivalent of the attorney general, came on our show this morning and said the following. There's enough evidence for me to open up a criminal investigation into the illicit effort by a Ukrainian to try to influence the United States election in favor of Hillary Clinton. That's a profound statement coming from the top law enforcement official of Ukraine. Why is it important? There's a court in Ukraine that's already concluded that Ukrainian officials leaked Paul Manafort's financial records to try to sway the U.S. election. You haven't heard anything about that in the American press, but that ruling occurred recently. Then a parliamentary member comes out and says, I have a tape of these law enforcement officials saying they did it specifically to help Hillary Clinton. That becomes the foundation of the Ukrainian investigation.
And you have talked to people that have heard this tape, correct?
Well, the prosecutor himself has heard the tape.
And Hillary, for money, gave uranium to Iran.
And said it was important enough, good enough evidence to warrant opening the investigation. So the tape, the court ruling, the top prosecutor in Ukraine says there was a foreign power.
Two separate issues here. Number one,
yes,
did Ukrainian officials offered us evidence that, in fact, they were involved in election interference in 2016 to help Hillary Clinton's campaign? But I didn't see anybody in the media.
We've 3 times or 2 times outvoted the cheating. We're not able to do it in 2020.
Pursue the interference story, and I thought they cared about interference, but obviously only if it's Russian interference and Trump, because we know they don't care about the dirty Russian dossier.
That's right. Keep in mind that just a few months ago, Sean, we reported on your show and Inside the Hill that Ukraine's embassy in Washington confirmed on the record that back in 2016, the Democratic National Committee, trying to help Hillary Clinton get elected, asked the Ukraine embassy to help interfere in the election by doing 2 things: dig up dirt on Paul Manafort and have Ukraine's president make a kerfuffle here in Washington about Manafort and Trump when he came to visit. Now, the Ukrainians say they rebuffed that attempt. But Hillary Clinton's campaign, the DNC, made that request, according to the Ukraine embassy in Washington.
Unbelievable. All right, I should be back on tomorrow at 5 p.m. All right, God bless everyone. Thanks for hanging out. Ain't no telling what Trump's has up his sleeve. Yeah, I'm hoping that the polls are changing in the good direction there, Kirk. Yeah. Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow, hopefully, if everything goes well. All right, take care. God bless. Bye-bye.